Welcome, deep divers, to another exploration into technology that, well, isn't just evolving, is it? It's actively reshaping our world, making it feel smaller, more connected every day. Just imagine for a second a future that really felt like pure science fiction not long ago. A world where language barriers just kind of melt away in real time. No more, fumbling with phrase books or those awkward charades or even relying on clunky online translators. Just smooth, fluid conversation. Whether you're maybe haggling in a busy market somewhere or trying to seal a complex international deal, it sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it? So the big question we're tackling today is this. Is that futuristic scenario actually here already, maybe whispering in our ears? Or is it still just, around the corner? Today, our deep dive is all about real-time translation technology. We're going to focus specifically on this burgeoning field of translation earbuds and also other AI-powered tools that are really designed to bridge these linguistic divides. We've looked through a bunch of really interesting sources that offer a practical, kind of no-nonsense guide to these things.
We'll be answering those key questions you've probably got. What do they actually do? How well do they work? What are the downsides? And maybe most importantly, what can they really do for you?
Exactly. And that's our mission here. We're going to peel back the layers, really understand what these devices are, the tech that's powering them, and crucially, do they actually deliver on that huge promise of seamless cross-cultural communication? We're drawing directly from the insights and the material you've shared, trying to offer a clear, informed view on this fast-moving tech landscape.
Okay, let's jump right in.
Oh,
When this tech first started popping up, there was definitely this huge wow factor. Our sources really highlight that. It felt like something straight out of, I don't know, a sci-fi novel just dropped into reality. The whole idea that a tiny thing in your ear could instantly interpret and translate words, letting you have a natural two-way chat.
yeah.
Well, it felt revolutionary. It's clearly breaking down communication barriers in ways we maybe only dreamed of before.
Yeah, and what's really key here is the fundamental change in how we even think about translation. We're moving way beyond just, simple word-for-word swapping. When we talk about real-time, two-way simultaneous translation, picture it. You say something in English. Your earbud doesn't just send the audio across. It instantly processes it, translates it into, say, Japanese, and delivers it into the other person's ear almost immediately, milliseconds, really. Then they reply in Japanese, and that gets translated back to English for you just as fast. It all happens fluidly, almost simultaneously. It gets rid of those awkward pauses, those linguistic gaps you'd get with a phrase book, or even trying to use your phone app back and forth. The aim is to make human interaction feel more natural, more immediate, and ultimately, more genuinely connected no matter what languages are involved.
And it's not just some cool gadget trick. Our sources are pretty clear about who stands to benefit most from this, well, potentially game-changing tech. First up, you've got the travel lovers, the backpackers. Imagine exploring some remote village, or haggling in a market, or just asking for directions somewhere without that language stress being a barrier. Then there are the international business folks. These tools could let them handle crucial meetings, virtual calls, with way more ease and confidence, maybe opening up new markets. Language learners, students too, get a massive boost. They can jump into real-world conversations, speed up their learning. And we shouldn't forget seniors, maybe looking for an easier way to chat with people when they travel or meet new neighbors from different backgrounds.
And if you zoom out a bit, the potential impact on just daily life and global interaction is, well, it's huge. It's not only about the practical stuff, though. Easily ordering food or getting directions is great. It's really about fostering that genuine human connection. The sources suggest that by taking away that big language hurdle, these devices might allow for deeper empathy, more shared experience. You could move beyond just understanding the words to actually getting the intention, the humor, the subtle cultural bits. It could foster a much stronger sense of maybe global citizenship by making authentic engagement easier.
That's a really powerful point, connection, not just basic communication. Now, for our listeners who follow tech closely, we know the how is just as fascinating as the what. So it's not just a fancy digital dictionary in your ear, right? What's the actual AI-powered magic that makes this translation real-time and crucially accurate, especially with that quick back and forth you described?
Right, and that's where it gets really interesting, and it's a big step up from older methods. These earbuds aren't just matching phrases. They use sophisticated neural machine translation, or NMT models. These are advanced AI networks, and they've been trained on absolutely massive amounts of language data, billions of sentences, conversations, texts, you name it. All that training lets them understand context, idioms, complex grammar, even subtle accents and speech patterns. So instead of just swapping words, they're converting the meaning from one language to another really fast, within milliseconds. It's that grasp of context and the predictive power driven by deep learning that really makes the difference and allows for that near instant, natural sounding translation. It's a quantum leap from the old clunky stuff.
Okay, that explanation of neural machine translation really grounds the magic, makes it feel tangible. And speaking of tangible tech, our sources kept bringing up one brand quite consistently: Time Kettle AI translation earbuds. It seems to be a highly rated option, though, as one source mentioned, maybe a bit pricey. But I guess for this kind of real-time freedom, sometimes you pay for quality, right? What, based on the research, makes Time Kettle stand out enough to justify that premium.
Yeah, the sources definitely position Time Kettle as a really strong contender, especially if you travel a lot or need translation for work. What makes it that very useful investment is its feature set. It's incredibly robust. For a start, it supports, get this, 40 languages and 93 accents with that two-way simultaneous translation. That breadth and depth is key because, language isn't uniform. Accents matter hugely for understanding. And it's not just for casual chats. It offers real-time translation for loads of situations, face-to-face talks, sure, but also virtual meetings, watching videos, even handling phone calls. That versatility makes it much more than just a travel gadget. And crucially, it works offline for some key languages. That's a massive plus if you're somewhere with bad Wi-Fi or trying to save data. Plus, the feedback highlighted in the sources often mentions its surprising accuracy, even when dealing with heavy accents or fast speech. That says a lot about the AI underneath.
Wow, 40 languages, 93 accents, and offline capability. That's seriously comprehensive. You can really see how those features would meet specific needs. Like imagine a crucial business trip, confidently negotiating across languages. Or just a richer travel experience, actually connecting with locals, getting the jokes, participating instead of just watching. And that offline feature? Yeah, that's a total game changer for anyone who's ever been stuck without data somewhere foreign. It really does bring that sci-fi idea we started with right into today. But okay, what if you're not quite ready to splash out on dedicated, pricey earbuds? Maybe you already have devices you like, or you just prefer text-based translations sometimes. Our deep dive should probably look at the wider picture too. Where else are these AI translation capabilities popping up, and what are the trade-offs according to our sources?
That's a great point. Not everyone needs or wants a specialized device. And the sources do cover other options using tech you might already have. For instance, a lot of people think standard AirPods have translation built in. They don't, actually. But you can pair them with apps like Google Translate or iTranslate. These apps do the voice translation, and your AirPods just play the audio, so you get a hands-free listening experience, which is nice. The key thing the sources note, though, is that it's not quite as seamless or integrated as the purpose-built earbuds. You're still messing with an app on your phone, maybe passing it back and forth. It can be less fluid for a real conversation. Then you've got the iPhone's built-in Translate app. If you have an iPhone running iOS 15 or later, there's a native Translate app that's pretty good. It does real-time voice translation, has a decent conversation mode, and even some offline capability for certain languages. Super convenient for quick things. But, again, the sources point out it doesn't cover nearly as many languages or accents as something like Time Kettle, and the processing might not be quite as instant for really intense back-and-forth translation. It's a fantastic free option to start with, though. And obviously, we have to mention ChatGPT as a translator. It's incredibly powerful, especially for text. You can type or paste text, even dictate it, and get really natural, context-aware translations in tons of languages. Its strength is understanding nuance, grammar, even tone. Brilliant for emails, documents, language learning support, but its main thing is text, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't give you that real-time fluid audio translation in your ear like the earbuds do. It's a different tool for a different job, essentially.
That's a really helpful overview of the range. It shows there are options all along the spectrum, different needs, different budgets, using tech you might already own. But for someone listening, trying to weigh these choices, where do the sources suggest the real value lies? Is it always a case of you get what you pay for, or are there times when a cheaper app solution is genuinely the better fit?
That's a really good question, and the sources suggest the answer isn't black and white. While you get what you pay for often rings true for the really demanding situations, it's not always the case. Think about someone going on a once-in-a-lifetime trip to just one country, or a casual tourist needing help with basics like ordering food or directions. For them, a good phone app paired with their existing earbuds, that might be perfectly fine. More budget-friendly, certainly. And those apps are getting better all the time. But for the international business pro, the serious language student, Or the frequent globetrotter who absolutely needs seamless, accurate communication across many languages, especially if they need offline modes or have to deal with complex topics, then investing in a dedicated device like Time Kettle starts to make a lot more sense. The sources really emphasize that the speed, accuracy, and just the hands-free convenience of the dedicated buds drastically reduce the mental effort and social awkwardness. That can be hugely valuable in high-stakes business settings or just for a less stressful, more immersive trip. So it's less about which is universally best and more about matching the tool to how often, how intensely, and in what situations you'll actually use it.
That makes perfect sense. Aligning the tech with the need. Okay, now, for those big questions I know everyone's wondering about. Are translation earbuds really worth it, and do they actually work? Are they practical day to day? Let's hit these directly, based on what the sources say about real-world use.
Absolutely. Let's tackle those. The sources kind of synthesize the answers quite clearly. First, are they worth it? For many users, the answer seems to be a definite yes. They find them extremely practical for all sorts of things: daily chats, business meetings, ordering food, getting directions while traveling. They're flagged as especially helpful in countries where you don't know the local language. They basically turn a potential source of anxiety into a chance to actually interact. And that convenience of not having to constantly pull out your phone is mentioned again and again as a major plus. Now, practicality and function, do they really work? Fundamentally, yes, they deliver on that core promise, enabling real-time, two-way translation without needing to hold up your phone. That hands-free aspect is huge, both physically and socially. It allows for more natural conversation, eye contact, but, and this is important, accuracy isn't always 100% perfect across the board. It depends on the specific brand, which languages are involved, some are better supported than others, and crucially, your internet connection quality if you're not using an offline mode. The sources do mention limitations. For example, they might struggle with really specialized technical jargon or super fast-paced overlapping speech or in extremely noisy places. They tend to work best one-on-one or in small, relatively quiet groups. So they've come a long, long way, but they're not quite a magic wand for every single language barrier yet. Still, to loop back, Time Kettle specifically gets those very positive reviews for its wide language support and usefulness in travel, business, and learning. It suggests the tech is mature enough now to be genuinely useful for most common interactions.
That's a great summary. Powerful tech with real-world uses, but also realistic expectations. It's not magic, but it's getting impressively close. And speaking of impressive, you mentioned evolution. Our sources also hinted at a broader idea of AI-powered earbuds, suggesting a future beyond just translation. This tech isn't standing still, is it? What else might be coming to these tiny devices in our ears?
That's a really important point because AI-powered earbuds is starting to mean a lot more than just translation. The sources suggest these are morphing into something like uh, tiny personal smart assistants that just live in your ear. We're seeing AI being built in for all sorts of advanced features, things like really smart voice assistants that understand context, adaptive noise cancellation that adjusts automatically to your surroundings, personalized sound profiles based on your hearing, even health monitoring, tracking heart rate, maybe temperature, activity. These earbuds are becoming these incredibly intelligent multitasking hubs. They're blending communication, entertainment, personal wellness, all very seamlessly. It offers a pretty fascinating peek into how integrated AI might become in our most personal tech. They're not just translating the world, they're helping us navigate it on many levels.
So bringing this deep dive right back around, what we've really seen today is just how far real-time translation tech has come. It's moved from pure sci-fi to, well, practical reality. It's getting us closer to that world where language isn't this massive wall, but maybe just a small hurdle we can easily step over with these clever AI-driven tools. That idea of global understanding feels, more reachable now.
It really does, and this raises some big questions for you, our listener, to think about. With these kinds of advancements, what fundamental changes might we start seeing in global travel, in how international business gets done, maybe even in how we teach and learn languages? How might these tools help us not just swap words, but actually connect across cultures in ways we haven't before? Could they foster deeper understanding, maybe empathy, perhaps even reshape what it means to be a global citizen? The future of how we connect is, quite literally, in our ears.
Absolutely. It's a thought that really stretches the imagination, changes how we see what's possible. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into real-time translation technology. We hope this exploration leaves you inspired to keep exploring, keep connecting, and keep conversing in a world that's definitely getting smaller and more accessible every day.